What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Peanut Gallery podcast. This is the place that we provide completely unprofessional and insignificant opinions on the most important and relevant topics of the day. I'm your host, Jared, and with me, as always, is Seth. Seth, how are you doing, man?
Doing great, dude. Finals just got finished for me. I think you're coming up, or you got done?
Yep, I'm all done.
Oh, it's so nice. So officially on Christmas break. Excited we're going to be able to pick up the pace here at Beyond Borders and also just kind of relax and focus on some things that aren't just school all the time. So
exactly. Get to see my family, in the first time in like 6 months.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Very true.
Yeah, no, it'll be nice, man. It'll definitely be good.
Yeah. Stoked. Ready for Christmas. Love Christmas.
Wow.
Oh,
the holidays.
Sorry.
The holidays.
It's the winter holidays. It's freaking Christmas.
Very offensive.
Right? I identify as a Christmas celebrator.
Celebrator.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and move right into what was nuts this week. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump right into what was nuts this week. First up, we have Christian wedding invitation artists are actually kind of in heat right now. They're facing up to a $2,500 fine and 6 months in jail because they're denying a same-sex couple their services, essentially. So what do you think of that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about tolerance last week, and I really think it's a fine line where refusing service based on someone's ideologies. I mean, it's a fine line between discrimination and then just allowing freedom of religion.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, I mean, I think that it's in this instance, not to make a blanket statement, but in this instance, I think that it's kind of garbage that they're being sued or whatever. I mean, the Christian couple, I mean, they make these invitations, and so I think that they don't want to make an invitation for a marriage that they don't think is legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, they're artists in a sense, creating these invitations, so they shouldn't have to create art that strictly goes against their religious beliefs, in my opinion. I think that the First Amendment kind of strictly states that you don't have to do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like if it was Hallmark saying, we're not going to sell you marriage cards because you're
just
gay,
like a default card
bad.
That's already set is a little bit different than someone having to go in and create something out of scratch that is specifically made for a certain people or couple kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, are they the only people in America that do this? Like, I'm pretty sure you can find another. Yes. Oh, sorry.
No, they're the only people.
Misinformed.
You don't know that, but yeah, they're the only people who do it.
Well, I mean, let's not find the fact of it. Let's just say what it is and not even have any sources.
Exactly. So we just thought that was interesting. We wanted to bring it up because, like Seth said, it kind of plays into the last topic that we talked about on PGP. Go ahead and check that out. But we talked about that a lot, so we don't want to spend too much time on that. So we're going to move right into the possibility of Trump being banned on Twitter.
Yeah. So
I don't think they're going to do it, but there's been talk about it, they banned people before.
They have banned people before, and Twitter's kind of been in question on whether or not they're having censorship. I mean, because it's kind of a gray area where they are a private company, so they're allowed to do whatever they want.
No, they are allowed to.
But at the same time, I mean, they have banned other people that have spoken out against what the founders think or what, mostly leftist ideology, not to categorize things, but usually it's progressive ideology is what they'll allow, and then what they see as regressive. Yeah. Anyway, they've said, and I really do think what they said isn't really that bad. I mean, they said they would ban him if he, quote, violates its policies on hate speech. And I think that's pretty much valid. I mean, if you're going to
It depends on what those policies are, though. And also, hate speech is, like we said, we talked about this earlier, they're covered, they're a private company, so they can legally do whatever they want, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. And if people don't like it, then go to a different social media site. However, hate speech is, obviously it's covered in the First Amendment.
But, they are using the American Bar Association definition of hate speech, where it is, quote, speech that offends, threatens, insults groups based on color, race, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, disability, or other traits.
Yeah.
it's kind of where it falls down to, like, is it hate speech? Is it people just being a baby? I mean, I don't think it's good.
That's pretty subjective at that point.
Yeah.
Like what people think is considered as hate speech.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting that Facebook has come forward and said that regardless of what Trump says, they're going to make an exception for him.
He's going to be the president
because
of the United States.
they think that the president's information, regardless of what it is worth having. Like it wouldn't be beneficial to censor the president, because even if it is really horrible, we should know that that's what he's trying to say, you know?
And I think that's where
a
Twitter
way more
will fall
valid.
too.
Yeah, I think that's what Twitter
will fall
should
in
do,
that
but
category.
at the same time, they're allowed to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So
I think if he had lost, his chances of being banned would be much higher than they are now.
I don't think they would have banned him. They wouldn't have cared, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Twitter's not doing
Still has
great.
a huge following. Yeah,
Doesn't
that's
really
true.
matter. It's just worth noting. Twitter could ban Trump. I mean, Trump's Twitter has kind of been
It's his main talking point. What he does.
It's been great to watch because it's kind of.
It's actually, dude, it's ingenious what he does on Twitter, because he sets almost the whole day of media coverage. Like whatever he wants them to talk about, he just tweets about it at 5 in the morning.
At the same time, though, he tweets a lot about things that. I mean, I think personally that he won the election because he had his Twitter taken away from him.
That is
towards
true.
the end there. I mean, I think that was a very
is
wise
true.
move, because he does say
That is true.
some very not thought out things on Twitter, which is what Twitter's for. It's kind of supposed to be this stream of consciousness where you can quickly just say whatever you want, but
you expect more from the president of the United States.
Yeah,
At
so
least,
I don't know.
At least sources.
It's just worth knowing that Twitter could ban him.
Yeah, definitely. Another kind of interesting thing is we have 4.8 million signatures on Change.org. People have signed to change the results of the U.S. election. Which,
Change.org is a
meaningless.
petition site where people can sign an online petition for something they believe in. I don't think there's ever been an instance where it's actually done anything, an online petition, but it makes
Quit
people
killing
feel
their
good.
dreams, man.
Yeah, I know. Whatever they want. They can do it if they want, I guess. But I think, the petition argues that Miss Clinton, they also address her as Miss Clinton, which is interesting. But it argues that the petition says that Miss Clinton won the popular vote, so she should be president, and that Trump is unfit to serve. And while I think the latter could be true, the former of her should be president because she won the popular vote, it's not how we work. And it's telling that 4.8 million people don't know how America works.
That's
great. Yeah. And I bet you a lot of people that signed this didn't
vote. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. No.
Because less than half of the potential voting people voted. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very telling. It's
people just
interesting,
love to whine. So
Yeah. And they'll continue to do so for a little while.
No.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Next thing, we're going to talk a little bit about the Amazon Go store, which I think is awesome, man. Like, this is, I watched that video that they put out about it.
Dude, it's so cool.
It's really cool.
All right.
My only thing with it
Yeah.
is, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'll pick up something in one aisle, walk around and be like, you know what? I don't really want this.
You're the people I hate.
Put
you
it down
put it back
somewhere else.
No, bro.
Sometimes, man, not like, I don't do it on purpose, but like if I find one brand of peanut butter and I find like a better brand later, I'm not going to walk all the way back to aisle 5.
Pretty sure peanut butter's all in the same aisle. I don't think peanut butter.
Not if you buy it from the overpriced natural whatever section in Kroger.
All right. You're funny because that's the first thing, one of the first things I thought of when I saw this was like, this could curb people doing that, because I hate that. I hate looking through and seeing something, and then it just means an employee needs to find it and put it back. You're just causing unnecessary work because you're too lazy to walk 2 aisles. But that's besides the point. This Amazon Go store right now, the only one that exists is in Seattle, and it's only open for the employees right now. What it is a 1,800 square feet, which is very small, grocery store where you walk in and you, with your Amazon app, you scan your phone, you walk in, and then using deep learning algorithms, AI, artificial intelligence, cameras, they know when you pick up an item and like put it in your cart. So like just picking it up, they'll add it to your virtual cart, and then when you walk out the door, there's no checkout lines. You just walk out. As soon as you leave the store, it charges your account. So there's no waiting lines. You just walk in, take what you want, and walk out. And then if you take something, like he said, you can put it back, and it will take it out of your cart so you don't get charged.
Just as long as you put it back in the same spot.
Well, we don't know. That's what
that is true. Yeah, they just showed.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I
think it's awesome.
I think it's such a good idea. I mean, if I don't have to deal with
cool.
people at all, Yes.
Nailed it.
But also, I mean, waiting lines. Like, imagine lunch hour. I don't know if you ever try to go to like Publix for a public sub during like lunch.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
You're gonna be waiting in a long.
Now there might be. It depends how many places there are to scan to get in. I mean, I could see. I mean, it'll be far
quick,
less
though.
than checking out. Yeah, it'll still be a lot less.
Yeah. The one
but you
thing
do have to scan when you go in.
Yeah, but the also thing worth noting is this basically means if you don't have a smartphone, you can't shop there.
Yeah, that's true.
So if every store was like this, I mean, people.
But I mean, come on, like pretty much anyone who would pretty much use Amazon anyways has probably already have a smartphone.
Well, I mean, even people that don't use Amazon just
part.
want a food. Like, if it's like just to take it to the extreme, if every store was like this,
Yeah, you would
homeless
have to
people
have it.
couldn't shop. You know, so that's kind of interesting just to think about. I do think it's kind of a given that like moving forward, you can pretty much guarantee that everyone's going to have a smartphone. At least people that are going to be out like driving someplace to shop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially our generation. I don't think. I mean, our previous generation and the one before that that's still alive, they probably don't have them. They might not have them.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I think you can
Moving
pretty much
forward, the
guarantee.
majority of people have.
The first one's going to open up to the public in 2017, which is the downtown Seattle one. I think it's so cool. I would love to try it.
Yeah, it would be really cool.
And
it's
I mean,
interesting to see that they're going against what has made Amazon
Yeah.
so successful. You know what I mean?
Make
They're
a
moving
brick and
to
mortar
brick and
store.
mortar stores
Yeah.
as opposed to selling everything online. I think this is kind of direct competition towards Walmart. That's kind of their main competitor, whereas Walmart's pretty much all brick and mortar, and they're making advancements trying to buy companies to increase their online kind of accessibility and stuff. Amazon is doing the opposite with the brick and mortar store. I just think they're doing it better because this store looks really cool.
I think you really got to watch out for Amazon, man. I mean, if they can get right now, they pretty much own the online store base. I mean, who doesn't have a Prime account and who doesn't order crap?
It's
off
something like
Amazon?
1 out of 3 of all purchases of commodities are done through Amazon. It's something crazy like that.
I mean, I
It's
love
really
Amazon.
cool.
I love Amazon. And so, like, if they can also put a latch on the brick and mortar, I mean, and I think it could be cool because it causes a resurgence because people are always like, well, everyone's shopping online. No one's going to go anywhere. But this could cause a resurgence in people going out. Granted, you're not going to be talking to cashiers.
Yeah, it's also going to save them a lot of money on labor costs and stuff like that after the
Well,
initial,
I mean, you're gonna have
the
to
initial
pay-
investment in the technology, but
But you're also going to have to pay more skilled laborers to fix the cameras when they inevitably break. I mean, you can probably pay one person that's going to fix that by like the same amount of money that costs is like 10 cashiers.
I'm sure they've made it very affordable.
I'm sure they're going to
in their
make money.
analysis.
I don't think Amazon's going to do anything to lose money.
Yeah.
At least not in the long run. But I think it's awesome, and they've already proven with the Amazon Echo that they have these advanced technologies and this AI thing. They've got a pretty good grasp on it. So I think it's
it works pretty
awesome.
well.
I think people my mom and people like older people, I think, who are like, well, I mean, how are they going to know if I really pick it up? Like, they're kind of skeptical with the technology.
Yeah.
I don't think Amazon's going to put out a store that are like, well, you know, half the time they might get out with something that we didn't like. They're going to charge you. If anything, they're going to charge you extra.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I'm excited to see what happens.
I hope it works. We'll be interested to see how the release in 2017 works with the.
They also have the drone delivery that they've teased. So I mean, they're really trying all these.
They're doing
crazy...
a lot of innovative stuff.
Yeah, definitely dope. Love Amazon.
Love Amazon. Good stuff.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move right into the main topic this week. All right, guys, we're going to hop right into the main topic this week. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Investigatory Powers Act, also known as Snoopers Charter. This was just passed in the UK. It's one of the most extreme surveillance acts ever passed in a democracy. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, outline kind of what all it entails. So Seth, why don't you go ahead and run through a little bit of that?
Yeah, so this was kind of slid under the door with the whole our election and also Brexit. It kind of just slid in because it's been
as a lot
tried.
of extreme legislation often does.
Yeah, well, of course, why do it legitimately? No, a lot of this has been tried to be passed a lot of times and it's been shut down. But it's kind of sold as a child protection piece of legislation.
Yeah.
And it finally got passed in both houses. it's received what in the UK is called royal assent. And what this basically means that both of the parliamentary houses have approved it. And the only thing that's left is for the Queen to formally sign off on it.
Oh.
And she always signs off on them. Like, there's never been a time where she hasn't just signed off on it. So it's kind of just a formality. It's going to become law early 2017, I believe. But so, I mean, I think it's really important to talk about because what it entails is nuts.
It's crazy.
Could easily be used as a precedent for other countries. I mean, you look at Canada, and they've already come out. They've already come out and said that they want to enact some of these because, I mean, England has it, so why shouldn't we? So they've already started to begin to use this as a precedent to pass new legislation in Canada, and I think it's very important that we are aware of what is going around in the world. And so we're going to just run through what this Investigatory Powers Act entails. So one of the things that it mandates is that the approval of warrants have 2 levels of approval being issued, one by the Secretary of State and then one of the Judicial Commissioner. Mm-hmm. This is new because it used to just be one person had to sign off on a warrant. So this is just providing extra, what would it be? Yeah, just like extra protection that warrants would be signed off legitly or whatever. Yeah. All right, another one. It allows warrantless interception of communication, including on behalf of telecommunication services. So this means that they can intercept your communications without a warrant. So I don't know why they would pass the previous thing because
it seems kind of
and this can be done against individuals living outside of the UK.
Yeah.
If it's, quote, a request made in accordance with relevant international agreement, meaning they can without a warrant, intercept communication for people outside the UK if they deem it important to the UK security.
Yeah. Which you can spin that almost any way to intercept
it's very
almost
vague.
Any kind of communication. Yeah, it's very vague. That's how these things are often left open, so it's very open to interpretation.
Yes. In addition, internet service providers, that would be like in the States, it would be like Comcast, AT&T, people that provide internet. They are required to keep a full list of internet connection records for a whole year.
That's basically an individual's history, right?
Yes.
Web searches, stuff like that.
Where you've gone, what you've seen, everything. Mm-hmm. And it needs to make them available without a warrant, only from a sign-off of a designated senior officer, again, very vague, to any public authority. This includes the police, Customs, Food Standards Agency, Gambling Commission, Department of Transportation, and the Department of Work. I mean, that means that
the food agency needs to know what you've been looking at on the internet. I mean,
exactly.
Obviously. Like, do you want gluten? Do you not want gluten? Like, obviously.
It's important to know where you've gone.
It's important to know.
This allows your full internet history of whatever the heck you look at on the internet on your own personal time to be able to be viewed by any of these agencies.
Basically, any public official, anyone who works for the government at all.
Without
Which is
a warrant,
the only
only
person who would
sign-off.
want to look at it anyways. Like, no private individual is going to be like, I wonder what this person looked at.
Mm-hmm. So now the next thing is that it allows equipment interference, which is like hacking into computers or devices to get the data. It may be authorized on equipment for the purpose of obtaining communications for large bulk data sets.
Big data, yeah.
So this just means it allows them to, with one warrant or whatever, take a crap ton. Like, they don't need to have a warrant for John Doe. They can just have a warrant for every single person inside Starbucks or every single person here, and they just at once just grab all that.
Collect all the data.
Collect all of it. Internet activity, financial transactions, phone calls, travel habits.
Yeah.
Like what? Like why? Like I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is a really big piece of legislation that they're trying to pass. I mean, oftentimes you saw this with the Patriot Act that the United States passed, which was a mistake. We did that 45 days after 9/11. When you have people that are, or a society as a whole, that are giving up their rights and their liberty for safety and security, That's
safety and security.
Safety and security by the government. That's always a problem. I mean, the founders knew this. They warned strictly against it. You have Benjamin Franklin said, any society that will give up a little liberty to gain a little security will deserve neither and lose both. So I think that's really telling. And oftentimes you see this. I mean, the UK right now is under, a similar circumstance as the United States, where they have an influx of immigrants coming in, and they have an increase in, isolated terrorist activities, and people are kind of scared. They want to make sure that someone's looking out at what their neighbor is doing. And while they're distracted with all this kind of stuff and the Brexit and everything like that, this bill is then, able to be passed with not a lot of attention from the media there.
Yeah. Like, this is something that would blow up here in America. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we had the internet. What was that recent thing that where they were trying to pass some kind of legislation?
Yeah,
to kind
net
of,
neutrality.
Net neutrality, exactly. And it blew up. People were calling their representatives and stuff like that, and it got shut down quickly.
Yeah, this is, I mean, like, mandating that internet service providers, I think, why should they have any access to your data? Like,
and then the fact that the government is communicating with private businesses is another thing that just, I mean, that shouldn't be happening in a free market society. That's not what happens at all.
Yeah, and it gives your data to so many people that just frankly do not need it to do their job. Why does the Food Safety Administration need to know all of your internet information? Why does the Department of Work? I mean, it's just ripe for it to be manipulated against you.
Yeah.
And they already have. I mean, the UK already has strict censorship on their internet. I mean, they're looking forward to outlaw. I mean, they've already outlawed certain kinds of porn, for instance, and now they're looking to even expand that to where they're not even going to let free adults look at certain types of porn. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's like there's so much censorship being put on them. And then in addition to that, also, we're going to look at everything you do.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. I mean, obviously, we're not advocating that you look at porn or anything, but like when you start making these restrictions on the internet,
well, it's the government. Who's the government to tell you?
Exactly. What stops the government from saying, yeah, you shouldn't really be looking at this site either, because that's kind of not, it's non-constructive. It's not, productive, or it's not good for society as a whole. We're going to kind of take your restriction away from here. This is hate speech here. We're not going to really let this happen. Or if you're
said
searching,
this, like, hey, remember that text that you sent your uncle was kind of like hate speech, and the Department of Work saw that, and they're not going to let you get this job
now.
So it's like,
or you've been looking up all of these images of guns or something like that. You're now labeled on kind of like guns. A terrorist watch list. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. They can formulate all these watch lists and put people on it to then further restrict.
And not only just, I mean, so a lot of this stems from our distrust of big government. And so if people do trust in the big government, then they might look at this as okay. But the fact that this data is now being retained somewhere, and you can argue whether or not it's been retained before, and now it's just making it legal. I think that's a valid argument, because I do think that this has already been happening. But that means that data is now there, and people know it because it's mandated by this legislation to get stolen. Yeah. And if anything has been proving, it's that government is woefully unequipped to handle aggressive people going after security, like
cyber
software
attacks.
Cyber attacks. I mean, data gets stolen all the time. And now you're saying, hey, we have all of your information.
We'll just trust the government to do it.
Dude.
That's great. I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. I think the people over in the UK are more kind of a little bit more socialist leaning than we are. Obviously, however, you see with Brexit and stuff like that, like they have a distrust of kind of, combined governments
Brexit,
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I don't think that this is representative of the majority of the people there. But I don't know.
I
don't know. I mean, we'll see what kind of protesting happens, or if any does, from this. But I think we definitely need to be looking at this, because like Seth was talking about, Canada is already adopting a similar kind of philosophy. And if this stuff starts spreading to the United States, people need to be aware of this so that we can kind of fight against it to retain our liberty, because it's definitely a threat right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure some good things are going to come for it, but giving up that much of your own personal information, it just doesn't seem like worth it, you know?
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it's not, man.
I just don't trust the government. I mean, we have
They
to,
don't do
because
many
it's not
things
happening
right.
to us. But if it was, I mean, I would just not trust our government to handle that. And they're also mandating backdoors into encryption, which I have a big problem with, because encryption essentially is math, and you can't argue with math. It's completely safe. If you encrypt something, it's never going to be found. But if you mandate a backdoor, which means a key to undo it that the government can use, guess what? That can be found. That key, that little backdoor, can be found by hackers, and it can be exploited. I mean, without it, it's a completely solid system that will never be penetrated.
Absolutely. I mean, this was similar to, I know the United States government wanted Apple to do this earlier, kind of in the year, to make a backdoor. It was in the...
it was in the bombing.
No. It was with the shooting in California.
I thought it was a bombing. Okay.
Anyway, they wanted Apple to create kind of a backdoor into their software where they could look at the contacts and stuff like this of this terrorist and see who they were communicating with. And Apple refused to do it. You can look it up. Tim Cook wrote a
I was
letter
totally
about it.
on Apple's side with that, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because once you create those backdoors, it can't be undone. And then who's to stop the federal government or any federal government from going in those backdoors, or hackers at that to that extent? Anyone who can do it can then
if
come
it's
in
there,
those back
it will
doors.
be found.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry, it will be found. If it's not there, guess what? There's nothing to find.
Yeah, and then everything on your phone is then can be stolen or can be viewed. By anyone.
And the warrantless thing that this thing allows,
doing it without warrants. Yeah.
Like, that's just ripe for abuse.
I mean, this sounds so foreign to us in the United States because we're used to.
Well, I think this happens all the time. This kind of stuff in here in America, I really think that this happens all the time. But
maybe not in a large piece of legislation. I don't.
No,
I think
not
that
formally.
people.
No.
Yeah. Because the American people are just kind of born to think of this idea of you have these constitutional rights, you have the Fifth Amendment, and you're innocent until proven guilty. There has to be a warrant for an investigation to continue on. So when you have these warrantless proposals that are introduced into the Snoopers Charter, it goes against what we believe completely.
Yeah, and it just hands over everything or anything you could possibly have personally. Because let's be honest, our lives are on our devices, basically. I mean, it knows your phone number,
your pictures, your contacts, your messages, your conversations, everything.
Your emails. When in your emails you have bank statements, so it knows your bank information. I mean, it's just it's
all up for grabs with this.
Yeah.
And they're doing it all for the sake of safety and security, which is such a false premise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean they're against racial profiling and stuff like that anyway. So I mean, I don't think that them just saying, this will help us create a safer and more secure society. I don't think that's really true. I mean,
no, I don't believe that for a second.
No.
I think this is just a grab for power that they could easily thought they're like, hey, we can get Brexit.
Never let a crisis go to waste.
And everybody's paying attention to the fact that Trump just won. Let's just slide that in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. They finally got it because it's been enacted and tried to be passed multiple times. And
since 2012.
Yeah, and I also think that's kind of weird, man. If you have a piece of legislation that keeps
failing,
and then they keep putting it back, I mean, something's a little bit about that.
With little critiques to it here and there to take
little
politics,
adjustments.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's definitely scary, and we need to be aware of the things going around outside of the U.S. because it
reflects.
It will affect us, man. If the U.K. they enact this. Canada grabs some of it. They've already talked about doing parts of it. If they start doing it, I mean, it's only a matter of time between when our politicians start saying, "Hey, look at all these other countries." I mean, I could even see them saying, "Hey, look at these countries who have less gun deaths than us. they have this keeps them safe, and then they pass it.
Forget
and it's like
the
those
fact
things aren't even
that
related.
they have like 300 million less people living in them.
No,
Jared,
Jared,
they have fewer gun deaths.
Yeah, it's like but I mean, you could easily see them manipulating this and using it as a precedent.
Yeah,
and it's
to
bad.
then try and pass it in the
I
United
think that
States.
it's good here in America. We have, as proven with the Apple case, private companies standing up against the government for things like this, saying, "Look, we're not going to put a backdoor in. I'm sorry, we don't have the ability to, and we're not going to." We think citizen security is important, and I think that's good.
We want to respect our consumers and our customers' privacy.
Exactly, because I mean, the iPhone is super. I think it's super secure. It's encrypted. It's proprietary. It's not open source like Android. No one else has access to its code, its source code, other than Apple. So we have things here that I think are protecting us, but it's also important that the citizens stay relevant. And if something like this does pop up, which it kind of has in net neutrality and the Patriot Act, which we did let through under the guise of fear, which I think is a horrible emotion to pass legislation on. We need to be aware of this kind of stuff, and when it comes up, call your representatives, call your governor, and just make them know that you're not going to stand for this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, because it does affect change. It really does. Like we've seen it. We've seen it with the net neutrality. So don't think that just a phone call doesn't affect anything or matter or anything. It's the same thing with your vote. Like don't think that it doesn't matter. It really does. It does matter.
Yeah.
So always kind of let your voice be known with whatever your representative is. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
No, it's a telling case, but we'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see where it goes in the future in 2017 when it starts. And I'm really interested into seeing if there's going to be any backlash from.
I think it's too far for that. I mean, what can you backlash? It's going to be a law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are protesting Trump.
Yeah, that's right.
If they're anything like
American hey, you know what they should do? They should start a petition on change.org.
There you go, man.
Just switch to legislation.
Start a petition. Maybe get a couple million
Don't go
people.
out and don't talk to people. Just sign the petition.
Just sign something and say
I
you
did my
something.
due diligence, Also, don't vote, because why vote? And take a knee for the anthem. All very useful tactics.
That's very useful.
Did you see the, not to get too off on a tangent, did you see the military general at the Pearl Harbor memorial destroy Kaepernick?
No, what'd he say?
Oh, it was great. He was saying something. He was like, and we're not going to, something about these people that won't even stand for our flag, and he got a round of applause. It was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, the majority of people don't respect people when they don't stand for the flag.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah, all right. Well, so that's about enough as much as we can say on that one. We're going to go ahead and move into what triggers us this week. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move right into what triggered us this week. This is where we retreat back into our safe spaces and sign online petitions because we think it's going to change stuff. All right, so this first story, we're going to move right into it. This is Catwoman, and no, it's not the cool, hot Catwoman from Batman. This is the very unhot Catwoman who's in her 70s now, and this is a person. And she spent, what was it, $2 million? $4 million?
$4 million.
$4 million on plastic surgery to change her face to look like a cat. But before you
she probably self-identifies as a cat.
She might, and don't judge her for that.
Yep.
Before you think that she's a wacko, she only did it because her boyfriend likes cats.
Oh. Well, I didn't know that.
Well, exactly. No, it's good now. It's solid.
Yeah.
But no, this girl's name is Jocelyn Wildstein. Wildstein. Yeah, Wildcat kind of throws up. So yeah, check her out. You just saw a picture of her. Not the most appealing thing. She's in her mid-70s. Her boyfriend's like 49, apparently. She lives in Trump Tower, which right now,
awesome.
It would be crazy to live in Trump Tower right now. I mean, you got all of the Secret Service.
It would be crazy to live in Trump Tower at any point. That sounds so expensive.
That is true. She pays like $5 million a year for her penthouse. But now more than ever, you have the cops being called on this girl. And then you have all of the Secret Service and stuff there for Donald Trump. But anyway, so the story of this is apparently her boyfriend was not giving her enough attention in the first place. So she made her face look like a cat. And then, so one night they were just randomly having dinner or something. He got on the computer. This is what this, the media says. And then all of a sudden she started clawing him and attacking him with her nails and with scissors, and ended up pouring hot wax on his face because he wasn't paying attention to her.
Dude, man.
And so he ends up having to barricade her into the closet, call 911, and wait for the cops to come, and she gets arrested.
Jeez.
Could you imagine being the cop there? Like, they do not get freaking paid enough. Like, you have to get this woman who's dressed like a cat trying to claw you, get her down and handcuff her. Like
the cop gets home, the wife asks how his night was. Like, it was perfect.
Wow. Okay.
No, okay. But like, honestly, I almost can't feel bad for the guy. Because why the heck are you dating her?
No. Oh, I can't at all. They've been dating since like 2003, too. Like, he knows what he was getting.
I'm sorry, but there's got to be some kind of
There's something off with both of these people, and I think that it's crazy.
And it'd be really funny. I don't think you watch It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, It's Always Sunny.
So there's a character that throughout the whole show so far has been getting more and more cat-like. Like, literally becoming cat-like. And I wonder...
Which one? I don't watch it that much. Who is it?
Oh, it's Dennis's ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
She shows up in the beginning of the seasons, and she's totally normal. And then throughout the season, she gets more and more cat-like, where at the end she's like...
drawing inspiration from this girl,
clearly. I think they might be making fun of her, because they make fun of a lot of relevant... This is nuts, though, man. Holy crap.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I just wanted to bring it to light.
Thank
because,
you.
Make
me have nightmares.
Well, if you're ever doubting that you're not really a reasonable or you ever have doubts about yourself, just think of this girl.
If you have doubts about your sanity,
and know that you are a completely sane individual compared to this.
Maybe she can be the pet to that chick that makes herself look like Barbie.
There you go. That would be cool. Carry around in a purse.
That's nuts, dude.
All right, man. So what triggered you this week?
All right. This is actually a good. It was really enlightening to hear, and I liked it. So this is Mike Rowe, and I don't know if you know who he is. He used to be the host of Dirty Jobs.
Good show.
On, was it Discovery Channel? I don't remember what channel it was on.
I just remember watching it after Thanksgiving vividly one time for some reason.
That's
Anyways,
weird.
Continue.
Okay, so he used to be the host of Dirty Jobs, and now he does some internet stuff. A lot with the blue collar workers and stuff, and he did a Facebook post about the whole college campuses, the students burning the flag, and then causing the campus to take down all flags because they wanted to focus on whatever differences and whatever.
Dude, the flag is offensive, man.
I forgot, yeah. And he came out and he just kind of, I wanted to read part of his post and then just kind of be like, I don't think that it really matters what celebrities say. I mean, I'm not going to hear a celebrity say something and be like, you know what? They're famous. They said this. That's good. No, I think that in the celebrity culture, I mean, this is kind of speaking out against the media and what's been going on. And I think that we need to commend him for it because most times they just kind of agree with it and they just stay with the left. And so here's what he said.
Speaking out is kind of a rarity.
Yeah, and usually harmful. He said, and I quote, "Here's the problem. Tuition at Hampshire College is about $60,000 a year. That's not a problem because it's expensive. It's a problem because 85% of the students qualify for some form of federal or financial aid. That means that we, the people, citizens, are enabling schools like Hampshire to sell a liberal arts degree for approximately $250,000 or $250,000. So with $1.3 trillion of student debt currently on the books, I find myself thinking how nice it would be to hear a more persuasive argument from those who will happily take money from a country whose flag they despise." End quote.
And burn.
And wrecked. It's awesome, and it really makes you think about it. Like these kids who are going to this pretty expensive college.
I'm glad I pay for it.
85%. Well, I mean, this is their right. 85% qualify for some form of financial aid from the federal government. Guess where the federal government gets our money? The taxpayer. So basically, we're paying these kids to burn the flag, and of the country that they say they hate so much. Because the flag is a representation of the country, which represents racial oppression and stuff. Yet, well, why don't you make a real difference and stop taking this blood money or this money, like like it delegitimizes their argument to an insane level, and I thought it was awesome that he came forward and was like, "This is dumb, man. Like, what do you?" And to really kind of break down and just think about it, not even dumb as in ideology, but dumb as in think about it logistically, where they're getting this money from the government. You know, like,
listen, Seth, there's one major flaw with your argument, and is that you're using too much logic in this scenario.
Oh, I wasn't using enough emotion and opinions.
You were not using enough of your emotions and your opinions.
Dang it.
Okay?
All right. Sorry.
It's too much logic that was going on.
I need to burn the numbers.
No, I mean, yeah. This is it bugs me, man. We did a topic a little bit about, the flag burning. And then when you have these students talk about it during their interviews, they can't even support it. Like, they're a broken record saying the flag is oppressive. The flag is oppressive. The flag represents a country that is oppressive. And it's like, okay, we get it. Can we get some examples? Like, the last time that our country oppressed anyone was, 200 years ago when there were slaves happening. And guess what? There were slaves in every country around the world for the most part. The United States,
just us.
The United States was a major movement towards the direction of not having slaves anymore in a major
and
country.
The slaves totally weren't sold by people of their own kind. No, that didn't happen either.
Yeah, no, Africa slave trading didn't happen.
No.
It's
so yeah,
crazy.
I just thought it was cool. I mean, I don't want to rehash the same argument we've had in the previous videos, but I think it's cool that this guy came forward, Mike Rowe, and was like, this is dumb, and let's just look at it from a number standpoint. And I wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, burning the flag is a hot topic these days. All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This has been a Peanut Gallery podcast, guys. If you liked it, be sure and like our channel, or like the video, subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram and SoundCloud, all at Beyond Borders.
The Instagram, we just passed 1,000 followers.
Yeah, we just passed 1,000 followers, which is awesome.
Shout out to all you guys.
If you follow us quickly, you can get on a giveaway that we're doing. We're going to be doing that here in this next week, so be sure and follow us there. And as always, guys, comment below. We love discussion. We really want to kind of create a community where discussion is encouraged and stuff like that. So be looking forward to our next Beyond Politics video that we're going to be putting out later in the week. It's about gun control, so that'll be an interesting topic. And then be sure and check us out next week when we put out our next Peanut Gallery podcast. As always, guys, have a good week, and remember, we're all little nuts.